That's a good, I like that. It's like hanging art on a wall. A lot of people don't know that there is like a science behind that.
Yes,
Right.
very much so. Yes. Thinking about it for a very long time, trying to figure out how can I do this? How can I make this as easy as possible, as simple as possible, with no guesswork? Nothing wrong with the style.
Yeah.
But the wave and the curl
Softens it.
because of the curve.
Yep.
So it was through measuring and measuring and measuring and redesigning and sending to the CAD designer, getting the designer.
Welcome to another Million Miles, your personal lifestyle concierge with credibility. I'm Danielle Kiesling, and in each episode, I connect you with unparalleled access to authentic, credible voices from across the entire world of beauty, wellness, fashion, travel, and mindset.
All right, friends, welcome back to another Million Miles podcast, the space where we elevate voices that redefine success, style, and intentional living, 1 mile at a time. Today's guest is Jennifer Reynolds. She is a makeup artist, a founder, and a creative entrepreneur who believes beauty should make women feel seen, not fixed, which I love that. She's also the creator of Joan of Arc, a brand born from her own journey with confidence and self-expression. And now a movement that actually helps women rewrite the rules around beauty, which again, I love. So this conversation, we're going to get honest about creativity, courage, and what it really takes to build a business rooted in authenticity and probably vulnerability, especially when this world is so loud and static. Like, how do you grab people's attention, right? So expectations are high. You know, you're trying to stay true to yourself, and like, where can you grab people's energy? So without further ado, Jennifer Reynolds, thank you so much for joining our podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to meet you, Danielle.
You likewise. And, you know, I actually haven't interviewed a lot of, I think you might be the first person, now that I'm thinking about it, that is in the beauty business that I've interviewed.
Oh, great. Okay,
Yes.
cool.
It started this podcast. I totally went like in a different direction. So I haven't actually interviewed another beauty guru, artist, consultant, anything. So this is cool.
Yeah, especially with your background. It is very cool.
So give me a little bit about your background, like just a quick rundown.
So I studied makeup and very quickly jumped into the freelance world, started apprenticing one of my instructors, doing TV commercials right out of the gate, which was terrifying, but great learning experience. So yeah, TV commercials, print advertising, corporate fashion, all the things that required makeup. This was in Toronto, Ontario.
I'm going to pause you real quick
Sure.
because I've been there. What did that do for you? Because that's an intimidating thing. And like, there's a lot of ego sometimes. What did it do for you? Like, how did that make you who you are today?
Well, the fact that one of my instructors believed in me enough that he took me on as an assistant out of a class of 20 people, you know, I couldn't believe it was happening. And he obviously saw something in me that I didn't see in myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, I totally agree. Once you're on set, once you're in that environment, and very scary and daunting because of the huge egos, the amount of money that's involved in, I mean, TV commercials are mini movies.
Yeah.
So the budgets are massive.
Huge.
So things have to be done right. You try your damnedest not to make any mistakes.
Yep.
And if you do, you make them once. You don't make them again.
Yeah. All essence, you have thick skin.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you don't, it gets thick.
Yeah, I know. So I'm a like pretty chill personality. And so when I go to, like I said, I've kind of been on our previous conversation that we talked before we started recording, I, gave you my background, and I now, because I've been exposed to both sides of the fashion and beauty and then the brand and beauty, like people are like, God, you're like, they just think sometimes they're going to hurt your feelings. And I'm like, you don't understand. Like, I have been through the whole fashion scene of my life. Like, you can't hurt my feelings about anything.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was describing it to someone recently. I forget why we got on the subject, but I was explaining to them, so often what is it like on set? It must be so much fun. No, the hours are brutal. The whole hierarchy. Don't sit at the wrong table at lunch.
Yep.
Don't.
Oh my God. The lunch situation alone is a thing. That is so funny. I don't have a lot of people that can relate to that, but like,
Yeah.
that's hilarious that you just said that because that is like a thing. It's like, I was just on set in LA this week and I made one of the production guys run around and get everybody's Instagram handles. And we've been shooting together. This is like probably our 8th project for Ulta.
Mhm.
We all like know kind of who each other are, but I'm like, why are we not like connected? And so I'm like, David, go around and get everybody's Instagram handles, put them in one chat. And like, I want people to talk like and follow each other because like you get in such a zone. It's so weird.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that dynamic on set, like it's just so
It's
insular, so intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that you can relate to that. I just don't get to talk to people.
Yeah.
Really like understand that. So, okay. So you've been doing this. You've like got the thick skin. Now, what are you doing? Because I see you've launched a brand
Yes.
and.
And, so, one thing I found working on set and commercials, I wasn't a huge fan of being one of many. I grew up in a big family, one of many. And then
Okay.
on set, like, I mean, I love what I do, beautifying someone or whatever it may be. But still, when you're on set, you're a huge group of people, one of many, do your job, I just felt like a cog in the wheel. And I wanted to touch people figuratively more than literally in the
Yeah.
sense of I wanted to, honest to God, I wanted to help women feel better about themselves.
Okay.
So I still do TV commercials, but my main job or love now is giving lessons to women and just honestly helping them feel better about themselves. And then with the new product that I launched with Jenna Varch,
Yeah.
that was through years of women going on about, my God, my eyebrows have disappeared. They're disappearing. Or white. What can I do about it? I have a pencil. I don't know how to fill, da, 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 da. And I thought there has got to be a super simple, easy way to fix this problem for the everyday person.
I love that. You're a problem solver. I love that.
Yes, yeah.
I love that. That's like one of my superpowers always is like, well, Danielle can talk anybody into anything. She can just solve the problem. I'm like, but it's a genuine thing, right? Like, I always say, I'm like, why do models trust me? Because I'm trying to solve a problem. And like, I ask a lot of questions and I'm like,
Yeah.
And that's all. And it's like the easiest thing in the world. But like when you get people to come into like a situation and they're not asking questions and they're like on their own like level and they don't treat people like that, like you're going to get pushback all the time.
Yes.
So I love that. That's your approach is like making people feel beautiful and then solving a problem because
Yeah.
eyebrows are huge.
They are like, they have become massive. They always were something.
Yeah.
But it's just, people feel so much more seen
Yeah.
when they have their brows and, possibly just a little bit of makeup. It doesn't have to be a lot, but brows play a big factor.
It's your frame.
Yes.
Like, so I have to ask you, this is totally not in your bio. I'm totally off subject. Well, not totally off subject. It's about brows. What do you feel about the super thin brows coming back?
Not really a fan.
I'm not either. I'm trying, but I'm not.
But I'll explain why. Because I think it's important, like you talking about asking lots of questions. I think it's important to back it up with the why.
Okay.
And the why behind it is, if you think about the volume, like looking at your eyebrows, the volume of a nice full brow with a curved arch, it's the volume. It's soft. It softly frames the eyes and the face.
Correct.
And a thin line, a thin brow is more severe. It's more extreme. Lines on the face read like lines on the face. It's a harsh look.
Okay. I'm glad you said that because I was like, am I just not like, maybe I'm just being too critical. I just watched a girl on social media go to Turkey and get her eyebrows. Like, they take a strip out of the back and replant them in the eyebrows. And I was like, okay, that's my girl. And then I went to the Ulta Beauty set this week and they were like, oh no, thin eyebrows are back in. And I was like, oh, no, 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 no.
Women in their 50s and 60s are saying, I tweezed my brows way, way back and they never grew in.
100%.
Yeah. So yeah, trends, fads.
Don't go with
especially
it.
brows. Don't do it.
No, I agree with you. I'm like, I use Revitalash and like products to make them thicker.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm like not a thin eyebrow girl. Not at all. Okay, so Jen of Arc is your baby.
Yes.
You've built it around eyebrows. Tell me, like, so then what? Now what?
So I just launched my product in October. And what the product is, as I said, trying to keep it as simple as possible. So there's no guesswork for the individual.
Okay.
They are right at the moment. There's 3 different eyebrow shapes and it's stencil. And the stencil is actually one piece, both brows, not one piece, one brow that you hold and flip. It's one piece, both brows, and it's got a skin safe adhesive.
Nice.
And so what you do is you anchor the center, and then right away you'll see one brow because the center falls. Sorry, I know my hands are all over the place. It falls right in the center between your 2 eyebrows.
Okay.
And after measuring hundreds of eyebrows, I defaulted to 5 millimeters from the center line as the start point. So as you lay the center point down, one brow will really pretty much fall within.
Okay.
The other one may be higher or lower, but there is a way to just like one side is already adhered. So you can just gently lift it up or lower it down.
Okay.
Then your hand's free.
That's nice.
Right. And then I have 3 little, somebody referred to them. It's kind of like a bingo stamp. Well, kind of, but not really. It's a powder filler. A powder has resistance.
Okay. Yeah.
And you just tap it on softly. If you tap it on more firmly, of course, the pigment's going to deposit more. But you tap it on and you've in effect filled in your brows. You pull it off. I love to run the spoolie through to soften the powder.
Okay.
But it's like it's honestly a no-brainer. It's
it's like a no-brainer. Sounds like a no-brainer. I love the powder aspect to it. Does it wash off? Do you need soap to get it off?
So the stencil itself, you just peel it off and then you rinse it with water and let it dry, sticky side up.
Okay.
And the stencil itself, if you continue to do that, it'll last you a year or more.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's significant.
It's 100% biodegradable.
Okay. Amazing. I love it. And so the powder just adheres to the hair already.
The hair or the skin.
Very cool. That's awesome. That's a good product. How did you think of this?
Well, like I said, I've been thinking about it for a very long time, trying to figure out how can I do this? How can I make this as easy as possible, as simple as possible, with no guesswork on the purchasers or the client side?
Okay.
And by measuring hundreds of brows and figuring out the distance here and figuring out, so brows the trend of brows has the shapes have changed over the years, like you and I talked about the thin brow. So I purposely created the initial shapes that the arches are not hard. They're slightly rounded.
Okay.
Because like I mentioned earlier, how curves and soft as opposed to hard lines and hard edges.
Yep.
Curves are very soft and flattering on the face. Reason being why a lovely, like the way a person's hair falls on the face versus a straight line. There's nothing wrong with the style.
Yeah.
But the wave and the curl
softens it
because of the curve.
Yep.
So it was through measuring and measuring and measuring and redesigning and sending to the CAD designer, getting the design back. The other factor too, with the redesign of eyebrows is thinking about how women past a certain age, our faces start to drop.
Yeah.
That the tail has to be at least 1 millimeter higher than the base of the core to give that slight elevation,
Okay.
right? It's not dramatic. We're not going for Gigi Hadid brows,
Yeah.
right? I'm not knocking her brows, but you know what I mean, right? It's just that slight little elevation versus lining up with it or even having the tail drop below.
Okay. That's
So
great. That's a good, I like that. It's like hanging art on a wall. A lot of people don't know that there is like a science behind that.
yes,
Right?
very much so. Yes.
I discovered this year when I had my whole house repainted and I just told them to take all my artwork down. And then I think my neighbor was like, well, are you going to are you going to hang your artwork the scientific way? And I was like, what? And now I'm obsessed with it. And I'm like, oh my God, it has to be like this way or it's not going back on the wall. So yeah, no, that's.
Welcome to Another Million Miles, your personal lifestyle concierge with credibility. Here we go beyond surface level advice. We dive deep into transformational insights from experts who set the standard in their fields.
So let me ask you this. This is kind of off the brow topic, but like
For sure.
now you're an entrepreneur. What made you take that leap and how did you, I guess, feel when you decided that you were going to take that leap? And like, how have you gone about starting your own business? Because this is a big deal.
Yes. Well, I will tell you that when I referred back to being from a big family and being one of many, I do not like to be told what to do.
Okay.
And like you said, I ask a lot of questions. And when you're an employee, that's not really, sometimes it's just come in the door, do your job and leave.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm one to ask, well, why are you doing it this way? What if we try and do it this way? Some employers do not appreciate that whatsoever.
Correct.
Right. And when you've got that entrepreneurial, independent brain, it's kind of like inevitable that that's where you're going to land.
Yeah, I agree.
I
don't know how many times I've like opened mouth and inserted foot.
Yeah. I've always, I taught fitness for years where I felt I was very much my own boss.
Okay.
Even though you might work for a company, but you come and teach your class to your style. And then doing freelance makeup, well, I, very much felt like even though I had an agent, there was still so much freedom. So yeah, just that's the way my mind works being an entrepreneur.
I love that. I love that. So how did you feel when you took that step to like get your own line though?
Yeah, that was scary.
Right? I know. I kind of, because I am asking because like on my social media, like I'm doing a lot of that right now too. I was just in China and like trying to like wrap my head around manufacturing and distribution. Yeah. So I think it's a valid, it's like people look at me and like listen to this podcast going, how does she do all the things she does? And so
Yeah.
I love to hear from people that are starting brands. Like what was your journey?
Well, I think now knowing what I know, I do it differently purchasing products or getting something made now versus then.
Okay.
But it was very much just a trial and error. I didn't even realize that, there's so many products, so many beauty products on the market.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I guess I realized that the quality in which I appreciated, I thought, okay, I like clean, I like minimal. I'm all about teaching people fewer products with a better result.
Yeah.
So I wanted dual purpose products, dual purpose brushes,
Okay.
like blushes that dual as a lip tint, those kind of things.
Okay.
So then you're talking cream versus powder. What kind of consistency and feel do you want that cream to be? Which I'm sure that you were doing this kind of thing while you were in China.
Yep. A lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I guess it's trusting that what you like and why you're doing it is realizing that there are people out there that want the same.
Yeah. Yeah. So cool. So cool. So where do people find you? How do they get your product?
Yes. So I have a website where you can see my work. You can see my products. My website is Jen of Arch. So it's JENN of Arch.
Like such a great branding, by the way.
Yeah. Now my marketing person came up with that name. I was like, that is a brilliant name.
It's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's .com. And I do encourage people very much to reach out. The Bold Brow Duo, the new product that I launched in October, which I actually won an award for in New York in September.
Awesome. Congrats.
Yeah, I'm very proud of that at the Makeup in New York show for innovation.
That's a big one.
Yeah,
Congratulations. That's awesome.
thank you. I'm really proud of that.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. So that was a big boost. That was a big confidence boost before I launched to win that.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So cool. How many years has this been in the making?
So it's been in my head for 10 plus years.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
No, it's so good to say that though. Like people that I coach are like, I want to do what you do. And I'm like, I've been doing this for 25 years. What part of it do you want?
Yeah. And
Right.
and you know yourself, going back 15 years, you're sort of like, but you don't, it's like, but it's not what it was then, like it's all the experience and the work and the effort that goes
Yeah.
into it as you learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the product itself, it was 3 years in the making. So 3 years, 2 years of research, such intense research. Like I just spent hours and hours on the computer. I started getting up because you're seeing clients all day long. So I started to get up at like 4:30 in the morning so I could sit on the computer and research and then get up and go and work my day and then do some more research at night because I had to find the right materials to create this product.
Yeah. So did you work within Canada, North America, or did you outsource it?
So there's a company that I found within Canada, which was great, especially because of what's happened in the last year. And they have a manufacturer in China.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm like learning all this stuff too. So that's why I'm asking. Like, I think it's so fascinating. Like, when you get into creating a brand and creating a product and like how that is all orchestrated. I mean, I was in China the beginning of this year and I was like mind blown. I'm like, wow, there's so much more than I thought. Like, I just wanted to, do a product line. I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't even think about all these things.
I guess it's knowing too, like, I mentioned about what I like, which it's more about what your client likes. But very often when you have a product, right, or when you have a line, can easily be your demographic, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then as far as you doing the research and finding the products you like, then it makes sense. It's just sort of like, okay, I love it. Here to my audience.
Yeah.
You'll love it.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. That's a really great way of putting it. Don't just do something to just do it. I think that you have to like own it and it has to be something that this is like, I walk the walk and talk the talk and like I'm using this and this is why I'm making it because it could be better and I'm here to make this product that I like better.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
And you have an audience. So, obviously they resonate with you. And so like you bringing it, that they'd be like, okay, well, I love the way she speaks, who she speaks to, etc. Right. And, yeah. So if you had products that I'm sure.
Yeah, I like you give me so much inspiration. This has been a great conversation because, like we are all working around the clock and day in and day out. And, like getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do research that is a true statement. And, a lot of people think that this kind of stuff just happens. And I'm like, no, you have no idea.
And I guess that shows like, you doing what you do when people think that, oh, I want, like you said, some people say to you, oh, I want to do what you do. And when I remember hearing this, and you probably heard this, when someone does something really well, it looks effortless.
Correct.
Right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. But you have to, right? You have to have like the time and the building blocks and all of the things. And like, you can't just say one day, like wake up and be like, oh, I want to do that. Like it's a life journey. And, I'm getting to the point in my life where I'm like, what's next? Like, we all have to go through those, but those are things that like grow people. And, a lot of people don't understand that because social media has made everything instantaneous,
Exactly. And like so many things with social media, not a ton of people are mega or uber successful, right? It's like so many things, but people look at it and think, oh, all these people are making all this money. It's like, well,
Yeah.
are all these people, or is it like any industry? It's only a handful.
Yeah. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors. I always like to tell people, I'm like, that's a full-time job in itself.
Yeah.
Creating content and doing all that stuff. So I find it fascinating that, we all are going through this crazy world and this crazy time. And I love to connect with people though, like you, that have like an entrepreneurial mindset. And, with, I guess, closing, where is this going to go for you? What's the next, what's your next milestone?
So my next milestone is adding virtual try-on to my website to make it that much easier for people.
That's cool.
Yeah. Just been talking to a couple of developers recently, and I want to add a few more stencils to the line and make some tweaks. But I'll be honest, like I said earlier, I'm a minimalist, and I like I said to you, when few products are really efficient and products that multi-purpose. So it's not about me taking this and having multiple products. It's making these products really good.
Yeah. Which is so good. Like, that's actually, for those of you who are listening, if you ever want to do a line, that was one of the biggest pieces of advice that I got from a friend of mine, James Angelo, who is with Luxury Brand Partners, is like, he's like, I love that you want to do 5 things and not 25.
Totally.
Yep.
Yeah. That's great advice and brilliant that's what you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. No, because otherwise you're just like, goodness, like you're already like, that's a lot of work. 5 things are a lot of work, but to do them well and to do them with authenticity and vulnerability and go, you know what, I want to see what this does. And if people even like it, maybe I just live in my own little bubble and I love it. But you want to make sure that you're testing that stuff out before you go full in.
Definitely. Yeah. And doing the 5, that's so smart.
Yeah. Well, my goodness, you have been such a pleasure to talk to. Any last words you want to say about what you're doing? Anything about you? Anything at all?
I love that you are thinking about doing a handful of products. I think that's awesome. So I'm going to keep an eye. I would like to offer your listeners a promotional code.
Love that.
Being a part of our chat.
Yes.
So we'll make the code AMM15.
Okay.
And I think we'll run it for maybe 48 hours when the podcast airs, if that sounds
perfect. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is fabulous. And I know that my listeners will appreciate that. You've heard it directly out of Jennifer's mouth. This is, she's taken a dream and taken an opportunity and taken it to the next level. And I think that, if you loved this conversation, and it's a reminder to you that real beauty is about connection, because she developed this entire brand trying to make women feel more confident and, more polished. And I think I love that our industry of beauty is going into other industries now about confidence building and entrepreneurship and wellness and health. And there's just so many things that are finally starting to check the box and click the dots.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. And women at any age, it's not just it's making sure that all women are visible and boosting them up.
And actually, I'm feeling like there's a whole movement into women that are in their 40s and 50s and 60s that are like, I want to do everything I can to optimize my age, my health, the way I look. I mean, I know I talk about it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's all, and the reason being, it's not just how you look, right? How it makes you feel. That's the bottom line.
All right, friends. Well, again, thank you, Jennifer Reynolds, so much for jumping on with us. And again, I'm just going to close it out and say I'm your host, Danielle Kiesling, and I'll see you on the next episode. But until then, keep moving forward one intentional mile at a time. And definitely check out Jen of Arc.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining me on Another Million Miles, where luxury and authenticity meet to enrich your journey. This is Another Million Miles, and I'll see you on the path ahead in our next episode. Until then, keep embracing the journey, savoring each moment, keep dreaming big and moving closer to the life you envisioned, and traveling afar.